Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. So I don't know about you, if you have a home gym or not, but we just got our gym set up inside our house after we moved here a few weeks ago, and I'm going to take you on a tour. Stay tuned. Hey there, my friend. Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, the power of possibility, passion, and purpose. And I don't know if you have a home gym or not. I've had several over the years. Sometimes it was my basement. Sometimes it was in the corner with a bunch of equipment that just became an elaborate coat hanger and collected a lot of dust. Sometimes it was my living room and got amazing, incredible results. For many years, it was my bedroom. I had a huge bedroom and I had all my equipment in the corner. So just recently, we were living in Minneapolis in an apartment, and our complex had a gym that we could go to. But with the coronavirus coming around, a lot of things in that apartment complex had shut down, including the gym. And we were already, not because of the gym, but we were already making the decision to move back to our house in Boise. And so that's what we did. We've gone back, we've moved back in, and when we came in, we were trying to decide where should we have the gym. Now, I'm recording this in my office, but typically my office was in a different location in the house. That's where the gym is now. And my wife and I absolutely love it. All of our equipment fits. It's a huge amount of space. And everything tucks away in a nice, neatly organized way, so it's not overwhelmingly cluttered, which, to tell you the truth, I've had gyms or I've set up situations before where there was just a bunch of equipment all over the place and you felt like you were tripping all over it, and it just kind of made you feel claustrophobic as you were exercising. This is great. So I'm going to, without any further ado, I am going to take you inside. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, I'll explain everything as I'm going along. You can just tune in that way. But I will have this out on the video version of this podcast within iTunes, and also on YouTube. If you head on over there, just do a search for Power Blast Podcast and you'll find it. All right, let's get to it. All right, I'm going to take you in to our newly designed fitness room. This is one of the exciting things that we have going since we've moved back into our house. Normally, we use our living room for our workouts, things like that, and we'd like to have things tucked away, but now we just took this little special area. We used to have this as our office, and a little special area that we've put a little TV and a desk on here, some weights and stuff like that. But I'm just going to show you around with some of the things that I think when it comes to equipment, it's not like you go out and buy a ton of things to fill your gym. At least it wasn't that way for me. These are things that I just accrued over time, depending on my goals, depending on where I was with my budget. And just over the years, I've collected some stuff. Some stuff we've gotten rid of. So just gonna set my little tripod down here and just share with you a little bit. So some things we've gotten rid of, like a treadmill. We found that we weren't using that as often. It was a really nice one, but it just didn't happen. I got rid of an elliptical machine way back when, and we've kind of settled on some things that we found really work for us. Now, what I find is when it comes to equipment, and you're going to see a Rebounder over there, and you're going to see some weights down here, and I'll show you how I've kind of organized some things. But I think for a lot of people, when it comes to equipment, we're looking for, what's that thing that's going to work for me? What's that magic formula of equipment that's going to chisel me and make me lose weight and be in shape? I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of equipment that works out there, but if you don't put it to use, it doesn't do you any good. So that's why I always say follow a plan, because I had bought gadgets and gizmos. I had a nice little circuit machine that, of weights, so not kind of like a Bowflex sort of thing for years. And I just didn't have a plan, a good way to have somebody pushing me through doing that, getting my workouts done.
So the results didn't happen. But let me flip the camera around here and I'll give you just a little tour and show you actually a couple things that I have a little story to, because as I'm working out and doing things throughout as I'm working out in this new area, I look at some of the equipment that I've accrued, and there's typically a story behind it, why I bought it and how it helped push me through different moments in my life.
Our most recent acquisition was the TV, just a small TV with a built-in Roku so we could stream our Beachbody on demand. But down here, we've got a bunch of different weights, and it looks like, oh my gosh, you've just collected a bunch of weights over time. But I'm going to tell you what. Let me show you what sort of things I came up with. The very first stuff that I used when I decided to first start working out.
Now, when I first started working out, I started with a program called Power 90. Now, it wasn't even on DVD, it was on VHS. But I did my first, many months just with a resistance band. That's it. I just followed the workouts with a resistance band. I thought this was kind of a goofy piece of equipment. I was kind of embarrassed to use it. I didn't want my wife to see, but this was an effective little gizmo. And so that's all I had. And to be honest, when P90X came out, and that was the very first, and I got to give a shout out to P90X over here. We got with Tony in the background there. I actually did P90X with just the resistance band, and I actually went and bought a 20-pound set of dumbbells halfway through because I wanted to get a little bit more results than the resistance band was giving me. So I'm like, I need some more resistance. I also bought a pull-up tower and this little gizmo here, which we still use. This one happens to be, it's a plyometrics mat. And so we still, sometimes we do yoga on this stuff, but it's a plyometrics mat. Really takes the impact out when it comes to jumping on hard floors. I had a hardwood floor. Now I'm kind of protecting my carpet with this thing. But that's it. When I started with P90X, it was resistance band, 20-pound set of 20-pound dumbbells, and then it was just the VHS tapes and the pull-up tower. But then things grew from there. I added a yoga block. So what you see it back here? This is one of the things that I think is really kind of a cool little thing that we have for our gym, because it's really easy to start collecting a bunch of weights and a bunch of gadgets and gizmos, and they start to create a little pile. So we decided to make use of an old dresser and tuck things away. Let me show you what we've got here. All right, down the bottom, just a wide variety of resistance bands and a little towel. Then we've got, this is actually just mainly kind of a little therapy sort of things, like this little block for spinal alignment and some things for some acupressure sort of things. And then I actually stored the little steps to my riser that I have for a program called, I never thought I would ever use a step, but it's for the Transform 20 Sean T program. Then in here, we got a wide variety of yoga blocks and we've got Les Mills Combat gloves and a wide variety of sweatbands and weighted gloves like these. So those are different things. Actually, this was one of my saving graces too, was to get some weighted, or not weighted, but some workout gloves for when you're lifting weights. I ripped up my hand doing pull-ups one time, and so now I just make sure I've got a set of those. Then in the next drawer up, we have, I do now use a chin-up assist, that loop that you put over the pull-up tower. And I've got an agility ladder here for when I'm doing Insanity Asylum. What do I have on the top? The top is currently my go-to drawer because I'm using resistance loops. So I've got a wide variety of those. And now I'm using these low-rise push-up stands.
because I can pick them up. They're light, they're mobile, and they're very stable for me that way. And then I've got another set of workout gloves and these little doozies, which are crazy wild sliders. And if I'm on a hardwood floor, they've got some covers to it. So that's what I have there. Over here, I have, oh my gosh, I have this wonderful pull-up thing that just hooks to a door frame up in the top there. You can put it on, take it down. Works great. And then, this, when Tony Horton created this baby, I mean, this saved my wrist. I have a really bad wrist, so these stands are super stable, and they angle my wrist at a different angle so that, because I can't push it super flat, I've got major arthritis in there, but I can do a different angle, and those are just such a great thing. I do have a bench. You can see it right over there. That bench, I've used it for Body Beast, but I'll tell you what, I was in a coach test group one time for a program called Hammer and Chisel, and that bench was like, oh my gosh, I needed that for every workout. Then over on the side here, we have a variety of little pads that you can use for core work, yoga mat. I do have the Shaun T Transform 20 riser there. There is an acupressure roller here. And I got this baby through my friend Fran Petoskey. This is called a Fashionator. It's a super hard roller. It's not a foam roller, but it's good for rolling out the fascia and the knots and just releasing a lot of tension in the body, so that it gives you range of motion, things like that. And this little gizmo, oh gosh, this little gizmo. This is a shepherd's hook. Let's see if I can hold it out there. And you use the shepherd's hook. Oh, let me show you. The way you use this shepherd's hook, if you've got knots in the back, you take and you kind of find it, target right there where you've got it, and then you just pull and angle this thing and just hold it. It's kind of like leaning up against a wall, against like a golf ball or a lacrosse ball, and that can just release a lot of great tension and finding some of those knots. I don't use this nearly as much as I should, but it's a great one. And then one thing I haven't used all that much, but Hillary got it way back when. This is a rebounder, kind of like that little trampoline sort of thing that we have, and great for the lymphatic system, a whole host of health benefits. And in behind me, let's see, we've got the posters. I've got a couple mirrors in there for making sure that we are using good form. And then you might be able to see, let me see if I can take you in here. This little gizmo we borrowed from our son. It's an inversion table to help lengthen the spine and stretch and decompress the spine a little bit. But that's the little tour of what we've got here with our current gym. And I'm going to tell you what, for the most part, much of this stuff does get used. And like I said, it really depends on our goals at the time and where we're at with what we're wanting to accomplish, what fitness things we're wanting to accomplish. Right now, I'm in the middle of using the weights back there, those sliders, those loops, but that can change. Later in the year, I may do Body Beast or another program that comes out, and then I'm over using the bench and all the weights that way. Sometimes I'm just in the middle of a major yoga session, and that's where the yoga blocks are going to be and those yoga mats. So I think we can really accrue a lot of equipment, but hopefully if you've got a lot of equipment there, hopefully you can find a plan or a strategy. That's why we have the Roku with Beachbody On Demand, because a trainer is always telling you exactly what to do, how to use the equipment, how many reps, and you just show up, push play, and you just follow along and do the work. Even if you're not motivated to do it, if you're not motivated, at least be disciplined. But I'm going to say it's usually a lot of times people will get things, be excited to get a new outfit or new equipment, and then don't put it to use because
you just don't have a plan and nobody's there kicking you in the butt to do it. That's where I come in with a coach and to help people out. And that's why I think we're running 3 different groups currently, because people are at different levels, but they've all got equipment and they've all got goals and a plan that they want to have in place, and just need that person to come in and help coach you along and motivate you along and support you along the way for your journey, so that you can get success, have success and get results. So I hope that's helpful. That's the little mini quick tour of our gym as it's currently being done, but who knows what we'll add or what we'll subtract in the future.
So that's it. There's my tour. I think having your own home gym, especially times like these, I think a lot of times people are looking for options to really just not only stay sane during these crazy times, but to actually make the most of it and to be able to, get through all of this with a great routine. Who knows what things are going to look like in months and years ahead. So if you could set yourself up with even what I showed you before, with just a resistance band and following a plan of some sort, you can get incredible results. Now, I've accrued my equipment over time. You don't have to start with all that stuff, but eventually, as you progress, your needs change, or you're able to do other things that you never thought you could. So then you challenge yourself with other equipment or other programs or other types of workouts that are really kind of challenge you. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm in the middle of a boxing / weight training workout program, but I'm also doing something that's kind of sports performance based, and it's got some agility drills in there and strength and conditioning in a totally different way. Who knows what it's going to look like in the next 3 months after I'm done with these, but it's always exciting to challenge yourself and invest in your older self. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I hope it inspired you to start crafting your home gym. And if you would like some more amazing ways to put yourself first and prove to yourself that you can make it through this crazy time, you'll want to grab my free Success Habits Master List. It's packed with routines, rituals, and tips and strategies to take you from feeling chaotic and overwhelmed to feeling grateful, healthy, and feeling focused and fulfilled. It's absolutely free. You can download that at morningsuccesshabits.com. Once again, that's morningsuccesshabits.com. That's all I have for this week. I so appreciate you for coming on and joining me in my home and in my gym. You absolutely rock, my friend. And if you found this valuable, please share, subscribe, leave an honest rating and review in your podcast app. That will help other people discover this podcast and be able to benefit from the tips and interviews that we do on here. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.